For tomorrow, we're looking at sunny skies. Alamogordo tomorrow, high of 61, low of 35. Cloudcroft tomorrow, high of 50 and an overnight low of 26 degrees. There are no roadblocks scheduled today on either Highway 70 or 54 South. For the latest roadblock information, call 575-678-1178.
This is the KNMZ Football Roundtable, Season 32. 5 local business people in a competition picking winners from the best high school, college, and NFL games every week. Manny Gonzalez from Charles Garland and Harris Agency, Brandon Burling from Desert Sun Auto Group, Timothy Brock of Christ Community Church, Jake Roberts with Coldwell Banker Sudworth Nelson, and Lara Conway of First National Bank. Now, let's get to the picks. You're listening to ESPN Alamogordo 103.7, and welcome into the KNMZ Football Roundtable. Hope everybody's having a fantastic Friday. We still have some football, not a lot of football tonight across the state of New Mexico. In fact, there's only 2 games that are being played tonight. Everything else is being played on a Saturday afternoon. But so happy to have you here, and welcome in the crew. Of course, we always start with Manny Gonzalez from Charles Garland and Harris Agency. Manny, how are you today?
Doing great. It's Friday. It's a crisp winter morning in the Tularosa Valley. I'm enjoying it all.
All right, very good. Lara Conway from First National Bank. How are you, Lara?
Yeah, I'm well. How are you?
Not too bad. We got Brandon Burling from Desert Sun Auto Group, and he's also brought along the person who's going to make the picks and make him go 16-0 this week, right?
We're hoping so. It's I could consider my lucky charm over here. So
he's got his daughter here in the studio with him today. So
hello Alamogordo and Tularosa Basin. It's beautiful, beautiful morning. I was driving up 10th Street and I was looking at the clouds, kind of crested over the top of the mountains, and I was just, I don't know, it feels good.
Atmospheric said the weather has been pretty cool with the cloud cover and everything.
Yeah. And how about that rain yesterday? That was wild. I loved it.
The moisture is welcomed.
Yes.
There it is.
The rain, the hail, it was crazy.
And the voice you just heard there is Jake Roberts from Coldwell Banker Sudworth Nelson. Jake, what's up, buddy?
The voice.
Okay, like the Ohio State University.
I'm doing great. It's beautiful day. Happy to be here.
And Tim Brock from Christ Community Church will be on time here in a couple minutes, so we'll have him here with us soon. Unfortunately, we're not talking Tiger football this week. Ran into a tough team against Roswell, but an exciting game, real fun second half. Looked like for a second there the Tigers maybe were able to get back into that game, but hey, Roswell's a great football team, deserved to be where they are in the semifinals. Tigers, though, I still feel like they proved like they belong with that group, just unable to get the win. Did you go, Manny?
I did. Me and Tommy were there, and we happened to be by the field house when the teams came out. And I noticed that Roswell, they weren't particularly big. I think the Tigers were bigger overall. Their skill players, their DBs, their running backs, all the skill players, picture like 5'7", 145 pounds. But it was a track team dressed up in football uniforms.
They're fast.
They are fast.
Yeah, they're not an overly big football team. Roswell's definitely had bigger offensive lines over the years, but man, the 4 or 5 skill players that really make a difference for them.
A couple of our guys tracked them down with the angles, a couple of times, but for the most part, when they got into the secondary, they were ADIOS.
Yeah, it was gone. And I tell you what, I think everybody's proud of the Alamogordo Tigers and everything that they did this year. I know the last few weeks have been so fun to watch. The last second win against Santa Teresa, the win over Artesia. It was a fun Tiger football season. I feel like, and nice to see the Tigers back in the playoffs. I think for everybody.
Love the way it ended. It was so rocky to begin with weather and stuff like that, and then I kept praying for those seniors. They got to come out of this with more than what we're seeing so far, and they did. Into the playoffs, good showing, good for the seniors.
Yep, whole community's proud of them. So. Wish the best luck to all the seniors, and we'll look forward again to another season of Tiger football in 2020. We still have one area team that's alive, and that's the Tularosa Wildcats, who avenged their loss earlier this season to the Dexter Demons. 22-20 was the final score. A really close game again, and Tule was able to, Tule took the lead about midway through the third quarter, and it was the same score the rest of the game. Kind of crazy how close and how long they were able to sustain that lead, not let Dexter pick up another score on them. So another rematch this week, a game that they won, though, the first time around. It was played in Tularosa. The Wildcats won 9-7. They kicked a late field goal, I think about a minute left to win the game. And then held off Socorro on their next drive. Socorro's had a great season. Their only loss this year is to Tularosa. They're going to get this one at home this time. It's a Saturday afternoon game, and I can't imagine that we're going to see a game that is a whole lot different than the first time around. So I think we're in for another fun one, hopefully, and we'll see what happens. I don't think there's much between these two teams, Manny.
Well, it will be a defensive struggle. It should be similar. As far as the games we're considering today, the Wildcats have allowed only 127 points. The Warriors have allowed only 93 points. Those are the lowest points allowed of any of the teams that we're going to talk about today. Defensive struggle. Tularosa's 9-2, Socorro's 10-1. It's in their place. That may be a slight advantage for the Warriors, but I've stayed with the Wildcats all season. Not going to change now. I'm going Wildcats on the road.
Lara.
I'm struggling with staying with Tule because I stuck with them most of the season. One game I picked and they didn't. I went against them and they won. So, I'm gonna go against them. I'm gonna go with Socorro.
Oh.
None of us are really that surprised. I mean, let's be honest. By the way, Tim's probably going to be with us in the second segment. He's running a little bit late, so I'll let you all know that he did pick Socorro. If it helps anybody here down the stretch. So, Brandon.
I think if this game was in Tularosa, I think I would feel a lot more comfortable picking Tularosa. But because it's in Socorro, they've had a strong season. I mean, strong year. Their one loss was to Tularosa, and they were playing in Tule, correct? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I think sometimes that can make a huge difference. It didn't last week, though. Last week I did pick the Demons, and Tularosa went out there and won that one. Tough game. I just feel maybe Tularosa. I'm gonna go Socorro. I don't know. Tough game.
Wasn't sure where that was going, actually.
I know.
Yeah, I really wasn't either. We were all kind of waiting, wasn't sure.
I've gone back and forth on that one. Back and forth.
Well, let's be fair. Every one of us sitting at this table has gone. It makes it sound like we're going one direction, then we go the exact opposite. We talk for a minute, and then we make the other decision. So, Jake.
I'm with Manny on this one. This is an interesting game. I kind of do feel a little bit like Socorro might be the better team, but I'm sticking with the hometown Tularosa. They keep showing up in those tough spots. They have every reason to think that they can win this game, even on the road. I'm gonna keep with the Wildcats.
I think it's an even game. I really don't think there's that big of a difference between these two teams, and I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stick with the hometown team in this. I feel like it really comes down to who comes out and plays. It's plays, better. Whoever has the better execution. I think in terms of talent, in terms of the way these two teams play the game, it's going to be a defensive struggle. At least it was the first time around. It's kind of a weird game because they had some weather delays and didn't finish until I think after 11 o'clock, something crazy like that. So,
right.
So certainly that was a different game last year, or I said last year, but earlier this season. But I'm gonna go with Wildcats. I'll make it an even split here on the sheet, and we'll see what happens there.
What down?
Tim?
Yeah,
Socorro. He picked Socorro.
I honestly didn't think that was gonna be split.
Yeah, I wasn't sure where everybody was gonna go with that. In all fairness,
We knew where Laura was going.
Oh my God.
all right. Cleveland taking on Clovis, and in Clovis, probably one of the biggest games to be at Leon Williams Stadium in quite a while. The Wildcats haven't been in a state semifinal, I think, in about a decade, maybe a little bit longer than that. So this is a big moment for that community. They are one of the best football communities in the state of New Mexico, have been for years and years and years. But they run into a Cleveland team and a community and high school that have been very good in the recent history. They don't have a lot of history, but it's very good from the football standpoint for the Storm. Storm are 9-2. Wildcats are 8-3. We definitely say it a lot on this show, and it maybe gets overused a little bit, but this is a 50-50 kind of game. I think the question is, Cleveland might be a little bit better than Clovis from schedule-wise and some things we've seen, but the road trip, you just wonder if that's going to give the advantage to Clovis at home. Lara.
Cleveland.
All right, going with the Rio Rancho team on the road. Brandon.
So Cleveland's only loss this year is to Volcano Vista.
No, they've lost twice. They lost to Volcano Vista, and
I think they only. I thought they were
No.
only loss.
They're 9-2.
9-2. So
Yeah.
who is their second loss to? Because I saw Volcano Vista.
I
But
think
but regardless, right?
Yeah.
So Volcano Vista is
Ranked number 1 in the state.
number 1 in the state.
Yeah.
I think Cleveland's played a harder schedule, by far. Yes, there's a road trip involved, but I think with the experience, the tougher schedule, I think that's got to come and play. I'm going to go Cleveland on the road.
El Paso Franklin was their other loss, so
And I think they're
a very good
They're-
football team. Yeah.
so you look at those two right there.
Yeah.
Except they got eliminated by Odessa P.
Did they? Yeah. It's just not too unusual. It's over the years, the El Paso teams, when they'd have to go up against the Odessa teams, they would struggle. So, Tim is going with Clovis in this game. Jake.
I like Cleveland, exactly for what you said. I don't think they had any bad losses. Both these teams are 6-0 at home. Clovis is 2-3 away, which doesn't matter because they're playing at home. Cleveland's actually 3-2 away, so they're not a bad road team. I'm going to go ahead and take them on the road.
I'm surprised there's so many people are going Cleveland on this. So hard to choose between these two sides. Clovis is. They may not have played, I think, as tough of a schedule as Cleveland, but I don't know if it really matters. I think we've seen that in a few games recently this season that the schedule isn't necessarily everything. I think the long road trip, I think it being at Leon Williams, I'm going to go with the home team. I'm going to go Clovis, but it's going to be a close game. Manny?
Yeah, this is be an exciting game to be at. The Purple Place on a Friday night. They're playing this on a Friday
playing
night.
tonight, yep.
Yeah, and so it's going to be lit up. It's going to be lit up. It's going to be rocking. I said this last week. Clovis has got the mojo going. They got the magic going. It's in the Purple Place. I'm going Clovis Wildcats to upset the Cleveland Storm.
All right, Rio Rancho and Volcano Vista in a rematch from earlier this season in the other Class 6A semifinal. Rio Rancho lost 51-43 to Volcano Vista. And Rio's, they're on a 4-loss team, but man, they put it to Cruces last week. I was really surprised how.
Cruces didn't even score, did they?
I think it was 35-0.
Yeah, I think they blanked him out,
Yeah.
which really shocked me.
Yeah, like Cleveland, they had a game on their hands against Centennial last week, so really impressed with Rio Rancho last week. Volcano Vista, they had a pretty tough game against Mayfield. Mayfield gave Volcano Vista at least a tougher game than Cruces gave to Rio Rancho, so this is another one that's so hard to try and figure. The game was close when they played the first time around, so I don't know. Brandon.
Out of all the games, I'm glad I get to pick this one first out of all of them.
Because you can take the undefeated team.
Yeah, 11-0, 7-4. Volcano Vista, I think this is their year. I do. I think they've got a great team. So
They do. They've played really well. All right. Tim is going with Volcano Vista as well. Jake.
Respect to Rio Rancho. With the 4 losses, they're still ranked pretty high up there. They've definitely had murderers row of schedule. We talked about this last week. They're a legit team. They're really good. They shocked me last week when they just stomped all over Las Cruces. I didn't see that coming. But I'm gonna go ahead and stick with Volcano Vista. That's who I had put on my pick sheet when I walked in here. But this is one of those games I don't feel super awesome about because they show up big. They show up big when it matters.
I'm going to go with the Hawks. I think they deserve the respect for how well they played this season, but it was an 8-point game the first time around, and it was Volcano Vista pulled away in the second half, and then Rio Rancho came storming back and almost came back and tied the game. So it was fun. It was a fun game the first time around. I don't know if Volcano Vista learned a little something from that. I'm sure Rio Rancho has as well, but. Yeah, good luck trying to figure this one, but I'll go with the Hawks. I think they've played better overall.
Never underestimate the power of a grudge either.
Yeah, that's very true. And they're in the same district. They've already seen each other this year. That's second time around. Always difficult to beat a team a second time around in football season. Manny?
There's 2 things that jump out at me. First of all, what you've already mentioned, they have already beat the Rams 51-43, October 26th. Not too long ago. When those games are played early in the season, I kind of discount them because a lot changes through the course of September and October. But the other thing that sticks out to me is that the Hawks have only allowed 149 points in all of those games, in all of those victories, 11-0. So I'm going to go Volcano Vista.
Lara.
I'll round it out with Volcano Vista.
Okay. Surprised nobody jumped out there with Rio Rancho. I should have done that. Oh, well. Los Lunas and Goddard in another rematch in the semifinal. Both teams come in at 9-2. Los Lunas won the first game between these two teams 21-7. That was in Los Lunas. Goddard at home this time. Saturday afternoon game. Yeah, Roswell High is playing tonight, so I was trying to remember.
Both these teams are 9-2, correct?
Yeah. So both even records. Both have played really well this year. Goddard, both teams have lost to Roswell High this season, and I'm trying to remember Goddard's other loss this season, but it's escaping me.
I think it was just Roswell and Los Lunas is what I've got.
Oh, that's right, Los Lunas.
And then Los Lunas' loss are to Roswell and Clovis is what I show.
Both teams have lost to Roswell.
Yeah, both teams have lost to the Coyotes this year.
So I don't know if these teams have played.
Yes, Goddard and Los Lunas, they did. They played earlier this year.
September
that's
20,
right, that's
21,
Yeah, you just mentioned that.
21-7 on September 27th.
Yeah, September 27th. And Los Lunas won that game 21-7.
Yeah, and it was the big thing, I mean, that could make a difference here. It was in Los Lunas. So, Jake, who do you like? Tim picked Goddard, by the way.
Of course he did.
Of course he did, because that's who you were going to pick.
Actually, I almost did. I'm not gonna lie. I've definitely liked the Rockets this year. I've been happy with what they're doing. I'm taking Los Lunas on this one right here. I don't know. I just the stats for these two teams are really, really similar. It's kind of hard to find an edge, but I think Los Lunas has a slight edge on Goddard.
Yeah, hard to gauge. I feel like Los Lunas maybe played a little more impressively against Artesia late in the season as compared to Goddard. It was Goddard did pull away in their victory. I mean, there's a common opponent there. Goddard had a better game against Roswell. Los Lunas lost by a pretty hefty margin. So you try to play that comparative silliness there. Seeing both teams, they're both exceptionally talented. Los Lunas, strong quarterback. Bryce Santana, their linebacker, and they use him as a big bruising back. He's tough to figure. Goddard has got a number of different talented guys, and then you also have to play the double wing option kind of stuff that not a ton of schools are. I mean, everybody's running the spread, I think, a little bit more in high school these days. So Goddard provides that challenge. I'm going to go Los Lunas. I feel like they were a little bit better team when I saw them against the Tigers this year, but the home field is the thing that makes me nervous in picking Los Lunas because I do think that will make a difference for the Rockets. Manny?
Well, and the other thing is the Goddard Rockets have only allowed 124 points all season long. And what I'm hoping for is a championship game between Roswell and Goddard in the Wool Bowl.
They've never played in the postseason. Roswell and Goddard have never played each other in the playoffs.
And I didn't know that, but that makes it even more sizzling.
Yeah.
And so more interesting. I'm going to go Goddard on this one.
Give credit to the NMAA on that. They posted that as like a poll on their Twitter feed a little bit earlier this week, and I was like, no way. You figured at least once since 1953 that would have happened, but nope. Lara.
Well, Justin picked Goddard, so I'll go with Goddard.
Okay.
Easy peasy, right?
Brandon?
Just going down this list, my gut was to go with Goddard, and so I'm going to stick with that.
All right, Texaco facing off against Eunice in the Class 2A state title game. These two teams also played earlier this year, 34-19. Eunice came away with the win the first time around. The only loss for Eunice this year to the Tularosa Wildcats. Texaco's had a really nice year as they advanced to the state championship. I think I know we're all probably going on this, but I wouldn't sleep on the Wolverines. Texaco's had a really good season. They didn't get blown out of the place by Eunice. The Cardinals are playing at home. Should mention that Tim is working this game, so he will not be picking it. But and congratulations to Tim to get to work a state championship game. That's got to be fun for him and his crew. I'm going to go the Cardinals. Again, I think they deserve the respect for how well they've played this year. But I expect Texaco to make this a good game. Manny?
Yeah. Oh, man. My old friend Coach Scroggins coached at Texaco, and my old friend Coach Schmidt coached at Eunice. Both of those came out of our Tiger coaching staffs at one point or the other. It's the Cardinals at home. That's, I think, the difference in this one. And they've already beat Texaco. It was early in the year, September 27th, but I'm going to go Eunice on this one.
Lara?
Eunice as well.
Brandon?
Has anybody in this room ever been to Eunice?
Yeah, I've driven through it.
I've been there.
Driven through.
I've been there.
I spent a year there one night.
I've Eunice has always seemed to put together a good football team. I can't remember really in a very long time that they haven't had a good football team, which tells me, I mean, the coaching staff, the knowledge, these big games like this, they know what to do. I like Eunice at home.
And Jake,
I'm gonna take Eunice.
all right. Yeah, and I didn't do my usual research for the state title games that I usually do, but I think Eunice, they're going for their second straight state title this year. I think they've been in the state championship game in 2A. This may be the fourth straight year they've been in the state title game now. So I'll double check that during the break, make sure I don't have that one incorrect. But as for some of the games we don't have on here, Roswell and Deming are playing tonight in the other Class 5A semifinal. Portales and Lovington are facing off in the 4A, one of the 4A semifinals. You got Bloomfield and Grants. So either Bloomfield or Grants is going to be in the 4A state title game. That's a little bit of a different one. And then in 3A, it's Hope Christian facing off against Robertson. Winner of that game would play the winner of Tularosa and Socorro. All right, we'll go ahead and take a break and come back to more of the KNMZ Football Roundtable and pick some college games. So stay with us here on ESPN Alamogordo 103.7.
Here at Christ Community, we are all about Jesus, we're all about people, and all about community. We are more than a building, more than a gathering. We are more than a religion. We are a place to belong, a place to be changed, and a place to experience relationship with God and others. No matter who you are, no matter where you come from, and no matter what you've done, Jesus loves you, we love you, and you belong here at Christ Community.
Wow, look at all those bright colors.
Yep, good old Tularosa Basin sunsets.
No, Mike, I just came from the Chevy house and I have a 2020 in my sights.
While everyone else still has 2019 vision, we have the new 2020 models in stock right now.
With supplier pricing in full effect for the 2019 models,
What you gotta go?
you can also get a great deal on a brand new just in inventory, newly released, never ever seen before, new to the area.
Hey, they get it. The 2020s are exclusively here at Desert Sun Motor Chevrolet.
Plus, we have the best in market, best service, tenderly loved and regrettably traded in pre-owned vehicles within 250 miles. We will not be undersold. All offers will be accepted.
That's right. With little or no money down financing and higher than market value for your trade, how could you not come down to 2600 North White Sands Boulevard or visit us online at DesertSunMotors.com.
See dealer for details. All available 2019s are still in stock. Not all 2020s have arrived yet. Deals may be the hottest under the sun. Purchase of one or more vehicles could increase your heart rate. Proud supporter of Taco Tuesdays. Keep hands and feet inside at all times. Do not attempt this at home.
If you and your family are looking for a new home, you don't have to look far for a home mortgage. As a community bank, we not only have great rates, we offer you friendly financial service right here in the neighborhood. There are a lot of options in real estate lending. We're here to see that you get a loan you could live with. Talk to us about your home mortgage. We're an equal housing lender. First National Bank, member FDIC. When you grow, we grow.
Are you looking to rent or need someone to manage your property? Hi, I'm Jake Roberts with Coldwell Banker, Sudderth Nelson. Did you know that we are the largest property management company in Alamogordo? Whether you are looking for a short-term housing solution or to turn an existing property into a great long-term investment, give us a call at 575-437-1137. Visit our website today at alamogordocoldwellbanker.com or come by and see us at 800 Scenic Drive.
At Charles Garland and Harris Insurance, we are proud of the great high schools in Alamogordo, Cloudcroft, Mescalero, and Tularosa. Our student athletes set a valuable example for everyone to follow. They work hard to succeed in the classroom and in competitive sports and contribute enormous time and energy to bring pride to their schools and community. At Charles Garland and Harris Insurance, as we work hard to protect the families and businesses of Otero County, we proudly take pause to follow our student athletes and extend our best wishes for their success every day in the classroom and on game day.
You're listening to ESPN Alamogordo 103.7. Welcome to the KNMZ Football Roundtable, or I should say welcome back. I guess say welcome to Tim. Tim, what's up, man?
Hey, yeah, I just was saying that you guys went 14-2, and I lost the game when I went 13-3.
I know.
Come on, you guys are too good at this.
Yeah, it's all luck. I did mention at the top of the show, 14-2 for Lara and Jake and myself. Tim went 13-3. Brandon went 12-4. Brandon's sitting there going, I went 12-4, and I didn't pick up a whole lot.
I'm still behind.
And Manny went 10-6 last week. So, all right. I do want to start off. We don't have some of our teams that we follow on the pick sheet this week just because the games aren't that interesting.
Wait, there's no Alabama? Shocking.
Against Western Carolina,
That's all right,
I know, right? Notre Dame taking on BC, kind of an old school rivalry between the Irish and the Eagles.
12:30 on Saturday. I'll tune in.
How about how bad they beat Navy? I was really blown away about how. I thought the defense was going to give Navy problems, but man, Navy never had a chance.
I was surprised, and I was kind of saying, "Come on, Navy, let's get in this thing." The midshipmen. I always cheer for the academies, as you know, and I was a little disappointed it was a more competitive game, but good for the Irish.
Yeah, Oklahoma, what a great comeback for the Sooners last week. I bet you were like, I'm going to turn this off and not watch this around halftime.
I actually did turn it on.
You didn't watch the rest of it. You know what? I give you respect for not watching, not lying with that.
It was just so bad that I was just like, I can't see this. Like, I just, come home from work. I worked all day, and it was the first time that, got to watch the game in the evening, and then I come home, and I was just like, I'm just not in the mood to watch this. And then I watched this really cool movie called Peanut Butter Falcon, which I think everybody should watch. Just saying. And then
Peanut Butter what?
Peanut Butter Falcon.
I've actually heard of it.
It's actually it's a really, really good movie. And then my phone starts blowing up, and I'm like, oh my gosh. So luckily I had recorded it. So Sunday, instead of watching NFL, I watched that game.
Okay.
So I got to watch it. So
okay, well that's good.
I did see it.
At least you got to see what happened with it all. I got you.
Peanut Butter Falcon.
There you go. Is that the one with Shia LaBeouf?
Yeah, and it's like an autistic kid, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's definitely worth watching.
All right. Lara's Clemson Tigers just continue playing nobody and rolled through Wake Forest.
Listen, Alabama can do it. We can do it.
Oh, not playing anybody and get to the championship?
Yeah.
I think Alabama at least plays a couple of ranked teams in the SEC.
Thank you very much.
It's not Clemson's fault that the ACC as a whole is not very good, but
right?
Yeah. Florida didn't have a problem with Mizzou last week. That was the last week's game, right? Mizzou?
No, yeah. I mean, Mizzou's a tough place to play, but Florida had control of it for the most part. I think they won by 2 touchdowns.
I like the way they've copied our tiger symbol.
Oh, yeah. That's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
That's totally how that worked out.
Yeah.
We sold it for some good money. Copyright.
It's funny because I was always looking for a Mizzou shirt because I always liked their symbol better, and I could never find one that just didn't say anything, so I could wear it to the games, and now we have that signal.
The Tiger's slightly different. Like the Alamo Tiger's a little bit more boxy.
Is it?
Yeah, the Mizzou Tiger's a little bit more streamlined.
I think you have to make a few
There's
changes.
There's a T on the tip of the nose.
Yeah. So it's a little bit different than the other one, which
means we didn't have to sue them for copyright.
That's right.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you remember when we were in high school, our uniforms, Alamogordo's, they were like almost like a greenish. The yellow was like greenish. It was terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they really tried to mimic Mizzou in that time frame.
Yeah, it was like a real. It looked like they were trying to make it a chromish gold kind of color.
Work.
Yeah,
I like the bright yellow.
Yeah, I think more of the Pittsburgh Steeler, black and gold look is more of the.
And I have always said that we should do the yellow helmets like Pittsburgh has done. I think that would be really cool.
I really like the gold logos and the number and the logo they used this year. I thought looked really
That was
sharp
old
this
school
year.
logo. Was the tiger jumping through the A?
No, it's just it's like the Arizona A, and then it's the number on the other side.
Okay, yeah.
No, I would love to see them go back to the old school Tiger logo. I think that there's some history behind that, and everything's throwback these days.
That's
Why
right.
don't we do that? But that's just my personal opinion. And we also don't have Penn State, Ohio State on the sheet this week. Ohio State's an 18.5-point favorite.
Jeez.
I was shocked when I saw that. I was like, oh yeah, that's an easy one to put on the sheet for this week. And as I said during the break, nobody's going to pick Penn State, unfortunately. But hey, the Nittany Lions, I'm all for chaos, so go Nittany Lions. That would be
I might
fun,
have.
but
I don't know.
Jake might have, he says.
Saying I would know.
you would not have 18.5. I don't believe you. But
That would have been fun if you had. Let's go ahead and put it on the sheet now.
Right? Pencil it in.
We'll give Jake a bonus one if he gets it there.
double-
All right.
double-
I'll get my game finally.
Yeah, you get your game finally. There you go. All right. UTEP and New Mexico State. Yeah, this is going to be, I don't know what it's going to, it could be an exceptionally entertaining game just because both teams are not very good. New Mexico State, amazingly, is getting 7.5 in this game. I don't know. It should be pick 'em as far as I'm concerned because it's not like it's a road trip or anything like that. Both teams are 1-9. This is about all each of these teams has left to kind of have a little bit of a salvage of their season. It's
Is it really a salvage of the season?
It's a slight bit of bragging rights. It's not much, but it's you know what? As Aggies fans and for any Miners fans out there, it's all we got. I'm gonna go Aggies, but who knows? I do think NMSU is probably the better team. I think they've played a tougher schedule this year, but it's been so tough for NMSU this season. Manny.
Tomorrow at 2, right?
Tomorrow at 2, yep. And you can listen to it here on ESPN Alamogordo, or you can head on over there to Pan Am. Or not Pan Am, but the Aggie Memorial.
I like the Aggies at Aggie Memorial.
Okay. Lara.
So, some may know my husband works for New Mexico State. He told me that this game is ESPN's pillow fight of the week.
Yeah.
I was like, no way.
Yeah,
So,
there's a guy named Ryan McGee who does a thing called the Bottom 10.
yeah.
And UTEP and NMSU are regularly a part of that for good reason.
I think Volcano Vista just passed them in the college rankings.
Right. I'm going to
So
go with New
mean.
Mexico State at home.
I'll do
Brandon.
the same.
Okay. Tim.
Yeah, this is sad. Points per game, 18.4 for UTEP, 18.8 NMSU. Points allowed, 35.7 UTEP, 40.8 for NMSU. But what does that tell you? That they're getting blown out a lot.
This
That's what it
might
tells
be a
you.
good game.
It could be a fantastically terrible game.
I would be really surprised if it wasn't close and a one-possession game in the fourth quarter. So I'd encourage you, go out there if you want to watch some football. It may not be the highest level of college football, but I bet it'll be an entertaining football game.
Well, I'm going to go NMSU just because they're favored, but I wouldn't have. I agree with you. I was shocked to see that anybody was favored. Both teams should be getting points.
You shocked that Vegas even put a line on this? I mean,
Yes.
is this one of those games that you know you're a degenerative gambler if you're betting on New Mexico State?
You got problems, bro. Call me. I'll pray for you.
There you go, Jake.
Yeah, so I was actually in Las Cruces last week, and I saw their win over Incarnate Word.
Yeah.
Sort of, because I pretty much fell asleep halfway through. I mean, I'm taking the Aggies, but they played so bad. I mean, they turned the ball over. It was not an impressive show at all. And I hate to be like bagging on them, but I mean, for these teams for them to be a favorite after watching that game last week is crazy to me.
Yeah, NMSU's got a lot of turnover problems. They have all season long. They've had a lot of turnover problems.
So I'm gonna take them. I don't know why I'm taking them, but we're going with the Aggies. Despite how I feel about how
I thought somebody would go UTEP there. I'm really surprised by that. All right, Texas and Baylor facing off. Texas now 6-4 in the season. Baylor 9-1 after giving up that huge lead to Oklahoma last week. Baylor's getting 5.5 in this game. So it was one of those I wondered if Baylor was almost going to be the underdog. Clearly the odds makers and I would say the rankings folks, they really haven't had a whole lot of faith in Baylor this year. They very nearly pulled it off, though, and put themselves in a position to maybe make the college football playoff. That is probably not going to be the case anymore, unfortunately. So I'll let Tim start this one. He's kind of likes the Texas and the Baylor schools. Right?
Yeah, bear down and hook 'em horns, right?
Yeah.
You know, I've liked Texas this year, but I was actually really impressed with Baylor. The question will be, can they stay as motivated now that they have lost the game, especially in such horrific fashion? But I think Baylor at home is the difference. I think they've got a solid team and a pretty good defense, so I'm going to go with Baylor to rebound.
Okay. Jake.
I think Baylor deserves more respect than they're getting, to be honest with you. I mean, to play the way they did against Oklahoma, I mean, losing sucks. Nobody likes losing, but, I mean, they really did show up. I think Baylor's a better team than Texas as it stands today, so I'm going to take Baylor at home.
Depends on which Texas team shows up because they've been a very good football team at times this year and otherwise have been really disappointing. Lost to Iowa State last week. I just hard to have a whole lot of faith in them. I think it's going to be a close game. I'll give Baylor the edge because they're at home, but that's about it. Manny?
Well, I have no real emotional attachment to this contest. Texas lost to Oklahoma 34-27. Baylor lost to Oklahoma 34-31. I really don't know what to think about this game. It's hard to pick, but I used to own a home. My first home I ever bought was on Baylor Avenue here in Alamogordo, so I'm going to go Baylor.
I think that's good a reason as any. Lara?
I'm going to go with Baylor just because they're at home.
All right, Brandon.
Yeah, I think Baylor. I mean, they did play good for the first half, and I mean,
Oklahoma's defense, crazily, Oklahoma's defense shut them down in the second
Absolutely.
half. Nobody would have expected that one.
Oklahoma has a defense.
Yeah.
I think Baylor deserves to win this game. They do. They've had a good season. I think they can beat this. They can beat Texas, and I like to see Texas lose. So
there you go. And it certainly would seem that the rematch is coming in the Big 12 title game at the end of the season. We'll see Baylor and Oklahoma face off again. All right, in the American Conference, 25th ranked SMU taking on Navy. Navy, of course, had that tough game against Notre Dame last week. SMU has bounced back after their loss to Memphis in the previous week. SMU still in the hunt of getting that New Year's Six Bowl invite if they can win some games down the stretch and maybe win the American Conference championship game, I should say. But I guess the question is, can Navy bounce back? Navy is getting 3.5 in this one. Manny, you like the academies. We'll just start this one off.
Yeah, at Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium, did you know that the midshipmen is the top rushing team in America? 350 yards.
With their offense, that would make sense, yeah.
Per game. And so, yeah, I'm looking for the midshipmen to bounce back. So, and the only worry I have is the Mustangs are coming off a bye week. And the midshipmen had a tough week last week. So, but I'm going to go with Navy.
Lara.
Navy.
Brandon?
I'm going to go with SMU just because.
Why not?
Why not? And they're having a pretty good year. I mean, That's the first time I think SMU's ever been ranked. Ever.
No, they were ranked earlier this season when they played Memphis. So,
yeah, I'm just saying, come on, give them credit.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's nice to see them. We talked about it, back from the Pony Express days. This is one of the first time they've been in the top 25 since then. So, Tim.
I'm torn on this game because you got two kind of conflicting styles. You got Navy, who you feel like they're going to control the clock just by the way they run the ball, and then SMU, which gives up like 400 points a game and scores 402 points a game. Like something's got to give here. So I'm gonna go with SMU as well.
Jake.
I don't think it was all bad news for Navy last week. They actually had more first downs than Notre Dame did. Turned over the ball a lot. I mean, that doesn't mean it, but it means they were able to move the ball against a really good team.
I agree.
I'm going to go ahead and take them. I think they're favored for a reason in this matchup, and I don't know. I got my faith in Navy.
I'll make a clean split. I'll go SMU in this one. I think it's a tight game. Unfortunately, with it was disappointing to see the way SMU played against Memphis, but man, they made a nice run and made that game closer than it certainly looked throughout the majority of it. On to the game, an old school rivalry game between Cal and Stanford. I don't know what anniversary it is of the band is on the field and all that stuff, but two teams that have probably had a disappointing season. It's been a while since I've seen Stanford sub 500 this late in the year, so they're 4-6. Cal is 5-5 on the year. Not nearly as bad as UTEP and MSU. These are clearly much better programs, but not a game that has a whole lot of national significance. But Stanford's only getting 2.5, and it is a rivalry game, so you never quite know what you're going to get out of it. But really smart kids playing on each side of that's for sure. So, Lara, who do you like?
Stanford.
Stanford. All right, Brennan. Dang it. We know who Jake's going for now.
I've always liked Stanford, and so I usually end up picking them when I have a chance, so I'll go Stanford.
Tim.
Well, I think Stanford's defense is going to have a hard time slowing down Cal, so I'm going to go with Cal.
All right. Jake?
Stanford is 9-1 in the last 10 games, so rivalry maybe, but I think Stanford's got the edge.
Cal's not bad this year. I mean, I can't believe they lost to Oregon State, though. But, against Oregon, it was a 17-7 game, played them pretty tight. Arizona State, it wasn't too bad. They lost big to USC. But neither team is playing especially well. I always end up picking against Stanford in these games. And I get burned most of the time. I know it's Northwestern Stanford. I always pick Northwestern for some reason. I'm going to go Cal. I think they've had a solid season. And I'm not sure what's going on with Coach Shaw and his group there, but I'm going to go Cal. Manny?
I'm going to go Stanford because I want them to have one last home victory before the Fighting Irish arrive.
No, there you go. Well, they need to win this one, and they need to beat the Irish if they want to be bowl eligible. So they've got 2 important games coming up for them. All right, on to the ACC, and I tell you what, 2 teams that have played pretty well, kind of under the radar this year are Pitt and Virginia Tech. They're both 7-3. Virginia Tech is getting 4.5 or 3.5. I'm sorry, with this game being in their place. So another, I think, tight one to decide. And these are 2 teams that are also trying to, I believe, play for the right on who's going to get to play Clemson on the other side of the ACC title game at the end of the season, because I think it's them and Virginia and Miami are all kind of in a jumble right now. I don't know who Clemson. I guess the question is, who would Clemson rather have in that ACC title game, maybe to boost up their resume a little bit. Even I don't know if they even need it at this point, but.
Well, they're undefeated and they're ranked 3.
Yeah.
Behind LSU and Georgia.
I know.
They're getting Ohio State.
Ohio State, yeah.
Sorry, Georgia's ranked 4. Okay.
You know they've played like nobody this year, right?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Okay.
And I appreciated the text when I think it was they played North Carolina, and you were like, "You getting nervous?" And I'm like, "Thanks, Charles."
It was pretty nervous.
They should have lost.
Nerve-wracking. Yeah, they should have lost that game. So, I don't know. All right, Jake, who do you like?
I don't like either of these teams.
Okay, well there you go. They're both pretty good though. They've had
Take
good
an
seasons.
underdog.
Yeah, they're out there. I'm kind of looking at the last 10 matchups, which I mean, the last 10. That's really hard to do because those programs turn over so much. Yeah. You know what? Let's take Pitt.
I'm going to take Pitt just because the uniforms they switch to are so nice. It's the bright yellow with the blue. It's one of my favorite uniforms in college football. Otherwise, I think these 2 teams are very evenly matched. And, I'm just going to go with the uniform. I don't do that too often, but I'm going to go with Pitt on the road. Manny?
VTech's favored by 4. They're at their place. I think the Hokies will be okie dokie.
Okay. Lara?
I'm going to go with Vatek.
All right. Brandon?
Yeah, I'll take Tech as well.
Tim?
You look at their last 5 games, and Pittsburgh's won a lot of their games. They only lost to Miami, which is terrible. But every game's close. I think they've gotten a little bit fortunate. I think Virginia Tech, their program's turning in the right direction. So I'm going to go with Hokie High.
Okay. All right, that'll do it for our college picks for this week. And, again, you can listen to New Mexico State and UTEP here on ESPN Alamogordo starting at 1 p.m. on Saturday. Kickoff is at 2. Or, hey, just head on over there. Should be a beautiful day across our area tomorrow. Get you back into more of the KNMZ Football Roundtable after a quick break. Don't you go anywhere.
At Charles Garland and Harris Insurance, we are proud of the great high schools in Alamogordo, Cloudcroft, Mescalero, and Tularosa. Our student athletes set a valuable example for everyone to follow. They work hard to succeed in the classroom and in competitive sports and contribute enormous time and energy to bring pride to their schools and community. At Charles Garland and Harris Insurance, as we work hard to protect the families and businesses of Otero County, we proudly take pause to follow our student athletes and extend our best wishes for their success every day in the classroom and on game day.
Hi, my name is Jake Roberts, and I'm a realtor with Coldwell Banker Southern Nelson. Are you looking for your dream home, or are you looking to sell your property and need the guidance to get noticed? I can help you with professional real estate services today. Call me at 575-446-8574 or email me at jake@nmvistas.com. To view a list of our inventory, visit our website at alamogordo-coldwellbanker.com or visit us at 800 Scenic Drive in Alamogordo.
Sometimes you just need a loan. Your daughter Debbie is getting married. Your son Toby needs a new tuba. Let's face it, families cost money. Things come up that you had no way of predicting. We make personal loans for occasions like this to people who have good credit. So next time you find yourself connected to the unexpected, stop in and see us about a personal loan, subject to credit approval. First National Bank, member FDIC. When you grow, we grow.
Wow, look at all those bright colors.
Yep, good old Tularosa Basin sunsets.
No, Mike, I just came from the Chevy house and I have a 2020 in my sights.
While everyone else still has 2019 vision, we have the new 2020 models in stock right now.
With supplier pricing in full effect for the 2019 models,
Which gotta go.
you can also get a great deal on a brand new just in inventory, newly released, never ever seen before, new to the area.
Hey, they get it. The 2020s are exclusively here at Desert Sun Motor Chevrolet.
Plus, we have the best in Cleveland market. Best service, tenderly loved and regrettably traded in pre-owned vehicles within 250 miles. We will not be undersold. All offers will be accepted.
That's right. With little or no money down financing and higher than market value for your trade, how could you not come down to 2600 North White Sands Boulevard or visit us online at DuttersonMotors.com.
See dealer for details. All available 2019s are still in stock. Not all 2020s have arrived yet. Deals may be the hottest under the sun. Purchase of one or more vehicles could increase your heart rate. Proud supporter of Taco Tuesdays. Keep hands and feet inside at all times. Do not attempt this at home.
Here at Christ Community, we are all about Jesus, we're all about people, and all about community. We are more than a building, more than a gathering. We are more than a religion. We are a place to belong, a place to be changed, and a place to experience relationship with God and others. No matter who you are, no matter where you come from, and no matter what you've done, Jesus loves you, we love you, and you belong here at Christ Community.
There are no roadblocks scheduled today on either Highway 70 or 54 South. For the latest roadblock information, call 575-678-1178. Today's forecast is calling for mostly sunny skies, mostly clear tonight in Alamogordo, high of 53, low of 35. Cloudcroft today, high of 38 and an overnight low of 25. For tomorrow, we're looking at sunny skies. Alamogordo tomorrow, high of 61, low of 35. Cloudcroft tomorrow, high of 50 and an overnight low of 26 degrees.
ESPN Alamogordo 103.7. Welcome back to the KNMZ Football Roundtable. We're heading into our pro picks for this week. Brandon, not exactly excited the way his Colts played last night, but I thought they played pretty well, to be fair. Close game.
Yeah, I mean, I just think, T.Y. wasn't on his game. Jacoby Brissett wasn't, placing the ball where he should be, It was an off game, and Houston played good. I wouldn't say they played great, but they did. They played a good game. They just couldn't capitalize in the red zone.
Those two catches that DeAndre Hopkins had last night,
fantastic.
The second one that gave him the lead, that was just, I was like, I couldn't believe that he was able to reach his arms out and grab that one. Just crazy. Because the first one, he was wide open. That was a mistake by the Colts defense. But
that's what you call good ball placement.
Yeah, I just could not believe
that's
that.
An on the money shot.
I know. It was impressive. All right, moving on to our pro picks for this week, and we'll start with Miami facing off against the Cleveland Browns, who, they're sitting in a little bit better position than they were a couple weeks ago. They were 2-6. Now they've won back-to-back games. Unfortunately, nobody's really talking about anything in regards to how they're playing football at the moment, but they're getting 10.5. They're at home. You would expect them to not have any problems here against the Dolphins. What do you think, Jake?
When was the last time Cleveland had 10.5 on anybody?
Well, when you play Miami, or they might have had that against. I think they played the Jets earlier this year, didn't they? They might have had that then.
They might have. I'm taking Cleveland in this one. They are starting to show some life. We're not talking about how they played, which honestly they didn't play that well anyway in that win, but they did win. So it is what it is. I'll take Cleveland with or without Garrett.
Against the Dolphins at home, I would expect them to win, but Miami didn't play especially well against the Bills last week, but they have good games in them. All they're really doing is hurting their draft position. But as I said before, you got a bunch of professionals on that team, and they don't want to get embarrassed, and they want to go prove how good they are. So I'll go Browns at home. Manny?
Yeah, I like the Cleveland Browns in this one.
All right. Lara?
Browns.
Brandon?
Yeah, I'm going to go Browns as well.
Tim?
So why are we picking the Browns in Miami?
Because the pro games, I make sure all of our teams are on there. So,
but Jake doesn't have a team. That's my point.
You made me take a team.
Yeah.
We decided it was going to be Cleveland.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
I protest the fact that Jake is a Browns fan, first of all.
He's a Baker, moneymaker, interception thrower fan.
Interception.
I'm more of a Myles Garrett fan right now.
What?
He's got a mean hook. What can I say?
Wow. Yeah, I'm going to go Cleveland, but I'm protesting this pick.
Okay, very good.
I want that on the record.
All right, that sounds good. It'll be like Major League Baseball where you protest a game and then nobody pays attention to it.
Just write that down somewhere.
Okay.
I got you, Tim. I wrote it down.
Thank you.
Oakland taking on the New York Jets. These were the two teams that were playing with the Heidi game, right? Wasn't it Jets and Raiders back in the day?
That's a good copy.
And that was this time of year, right? Wasn't it December, November, something like that? I have to go back and look
maybe
at
a
that.
little deeper in the year. I think it was closer to the Christmas holiday. I don't recall exactly.
Yeah. Anyway, Raiders are looking great right now. They're 6-4. They're loving playing. They were loving playing at their place, but they got to make the trip out to the East Coast. Jets. The Jets are playing better. They looked pretty good against. Who did they beat last week? Was it the Giants they beat last week? I think it was. Now I'm trying to remember, but
Washington and the Giants.
Washington.
Last 2 weeks.
Okay, so I mean they've beaten the Giants and the Redskins in back-to-back weeks. It's not like it's amazing, but the Jets are just as bad as those teams are. Raiders only getting 3 on the road in this game. Manny?
Yeah, it's a long road trip in the wrong direction, all the way across the country. The Jets could give the Raiders some problems in this one, and I'm a little worried about this. Fortunately, I'll be at Mass and won't get to watch the first half of this one, but I'm going to go Raiders on the road.
Click on that radio when you get out. We'll have it on the radio for you on Sunday.
Good.
Lara?
I'm going to go Raiders on the road as well.
All right, Brandon?
Yeah, I am a little shocked that the Raiders are only getting 3. But if I remember right, they have always played each other tough. Like, I know Raiders and the Broncos, but isn't the Jets like the other team that they always just play each other tough?
Because it goes back to that Heidi game. There's this
angst,
this scenario,
Yeah. I think Oakland's a better team. I'm going to go Oakland.
All right. Tim?
Well, I'd like to point out that the Jets have scored 34 points in their last 2 games, granted against the bottom dwellers of the NFC East in the Giants and the Redskins. But I think Sam Darnold's healthy. I think Le'Veon Bell is getting healthy, and I think they've got some weapons in Anderson. As a receiver.
The Jets pick?
I'm going with the Jets.
Oh,
Jets. Look at me going out there.
I know, Jake.
So the odds sharks actually have the Jets winning. Which is fine. I think Oakland's just the better team. I recanted on my earlier season.
He's too old and he doesn't know any better.
It was just the drama. Everything that was going on in that organization just did not look promising. The fact that they've overcome all that and are only 1 game out of the first place in that division right now is pretty. I think that's pretty amazing. So, kudos to Oakland. I'm gonna say Oakland's gonna get it because I'm rooting for Bobby. He's going out there this week for Thanksgiving. So go Bobby. I'll take Oakland for you.
I'm gonna go Raiders. I think that they're the better team. But the Jets have shown signs of life. I think Tim's pick. It's the East Coast. The early game East Coast thing is scary because for whatever reason, a lot of West Coast teams struggle with that, and I don't quite know why.
They've already traveled to London. I mean, if anybody's road tested time wise, it's Oakland this year.
But both teams travel to London in that case. So I mean, I guess that's I don't know, but I think if you're a good enough football team, that stuff really shouldn't matter. All right, Cowboys going to New England, taking on the Patriots. New England's getting 6.5 in this game. I'm kind of surprised the line is as big as it is. New England, their defense is great, but man, they're tell me that offense is Tom's making you a little nervous this year, ain't he, Lara?
Yes, he is. He's very nervous.
All right, so who do you like, Lara?
Well, I'm going to go against my boys, and I'm going to pick New England.
Oh, that's right. Both the guys
Both my
that were
boys
there.
said, they were like, that's 2 against 1, Larry. You have to pick Dallas. I said, absolutely not.
Well, the way you worded that, I'm going against my boys, and the Cowboys are them boys.
The boys, yeah.
It did throw me off.
Oh, and by
Charles was like, eh.
When I said it, I was like, wait a minute. Yeah.
I would say they don't get a vote considering Justin picked the Cowboys last week.
Yes.
Or not the Cowboys, but the Eagles last week.
Yes.
The Eagles last week. So, which is kind of wrong anyway that a Cowboys fan's picking the Eagles. That just feels
Right.
Oh, yeah, I was actually going for the Patriots.
Yeah. Brandon?
I think it'll be a good game. I think probably one of the more exciting games that's on the sheet. But I'm going to go New England at home. I think that might be the difference.
Tim?
I think this will be a really interesting game. I think the Cowboys match up well against them, assuming we don't turn the ball over, which Zeke has fumbled the ball a lot, it feels like. Maybe that's just perception. But I think the Cowboys can win this game, even in New England at Gillette. I'm gonna go with the Cowboys, but I wouldn't put any money on it.
Do you think they cover?
I think they're gonna win straight up.
Okay.
But no, I mean I think if they lose, they're gonna lose, man. They're gonna lose in a tragic.
One extreme or the other.
The phrase that comes to mind is tragic inevitability. The Cowboys win a game only to then look terrible the next week.
I hope they look good this week and look terrible next week. Jake?
I'm banking on some Dallas turnovers because, that offense is leaving a lot to be desired. Tom's kind of showing his age bit. I'm going to go ahead and take New England in this one, but we'll see.
I mean, it's really going to be that Cowboys offense, which has been really good this year against that Patriots defense. That's going to be the real key to the game for me. I'm hoping maybe Dallas has a little bit of an inflated head. If they win this game, I'm going to pick Cowboys, and then they lose to the Bills on Thanksgiving because that would be really nice for me.
Did you just pick the Cowboys?
I did.
My man.
This little ditty is for all my so-called friends who love the Dallas Cowboys.
I'm listening.
We are the boys. We're the boys. We're the boys. We're the boys. We are the boys.
So New England.
During the break, Manny's asking for help with some of this material. I said, Manny, there is nobody that can come up with your material but you.
He's the only one that has material.
Dallas.
All right, nice even split there. With the way that the Patriots have played, I think that that game could go either way. Bills at home against the Broncos. Broncos nearly beat the Vikings on the road last week. Bills are that's the best they've looked probably all season against Miami last week. I think this is like a 2017 game probably, and I really think the Bills could lose. It was similar, I think similar to the Cleveland game earlier this season. So I'm gonna go Bills. They're at home. I think I've picked them pretty much every week this season, which is just crazy for me. But
I think you picked them against them but you wanted them to win in one of the picks. Like you picked against them, but you were
maybe it was against the Patriots. I might have done that then. I think I might have.
No, I think you picked the Bills all year.
Yeah.
I think you didn't pick them for
the Dolphins.
However,
you picked the Dolphins to
they
beat
are
them.
doing well.
Yeah, I know. I definitely picked the Dolphins last week, right? Manny picked the Dolphins last week.
I'm going Buffalo.
Okay. Well, especially since they're playing Denver. I mean, you definitely want Denver.
I've got to keep that AFC West organized a certain way. Buffalo.
Lara?
Buffalo.
Brandon?
Yeah, I'm not. Denver's too much of a mess. I'm gonna go Buffalo.
Tim?
Did you see the over/under, Charles, before you predicted your score of 20-17?
I'm guessing it's like 35.
It's 37.
Yeah. Okay. So 2017, I was right on.
I was really impressed by that.
No, I didn't.
I was reading that as you were saying it, and I was like, Charles, he should get a job with Vegas. Yeah, I think Buffalo. Denver, I'm shocked that they even compete. They're so beat up and mediocre. Yeah.
They played well last week until the second half came along and Minnesota woke up. So, Jake.
I don't have any faith in them this week. Go Bills.
That's good. I wanted to lose a game there when the Bills find a way to lose that one. Green Bay taking on San Francisco. This is the Sunday night game for this week. Brandon, who do you like?
Oh, why do I have to pick this one first? This is going to be a tough matchup. Green Bay has pulled off some strong wins. Gosh darn. I'll go Green Bay for my boy Nick over at the Honda store.
Okay, there you
go. I'll be rooting for you,
Tim.
Yeah, I'm not really sold on San Francisco. I mean, I do agree their defense is flat out phenomenal, which is a big part of football. Don't get me wrong. They got a good running game, but they're kind of beat up. They've got some injuries, and I have a hard time going against Aaron Rodgers. I just think he's so fantastic. But if Bosa can get to Aaron Rodgers, it's going to be a long day for Aaron, and he's proven that when teams can rush him, to include Joey Bosa, who got to him, right, and against the Chargers. Yeah. If little brother can do the same, it'll be the 49ers. But I'm gonna assume that they put a couple extra bodies on Bosa, and I'm gonna go with the Packers.
Jake.
See, Aaron Rodgers he's a stat machine, but I don't know that it always translates to wins. If they don't get that running game going, I just don't know if they're going to be able to pull it off. I'm not super sold on San Francisco either, but right now they just feel like an all-around better team. Yeah.
Going with the Niners.
I'm going with the Niners. Okay. Green Bay's got Aaron Rodgers. I love Aaron Rodgers. I think he's a good, but I think San Francisco all around is a better team.
All right. I think Aaron Jones does have a good game. I mean, the Cardinals were running the football on the Niners last week, and I think the Niners have also picked up some injuries along the way. But I think if it comes down to it, I'm taking Aaron Rodgers over Jimmy G, so I'm going to go Green Bay. Manny?
To me, this is just about location. 49ers at home, I'm going San Francisco. I got a friend who's got $500 on this game.
Oh, my goodness.
Why? How can you have that much confidence in either of these teams?
They love their football team.
He got pushed into it, I think. The bet kept getting larger and larger. It's up to 500 now, so I'm going for
the unnamed man, Lara. Or woman.
Oh my goodness. I'm gonna go with Green Bay.
All right, running out of time, so real quickly we'll go Baltimore and LA Rams. And Baltimore just getting 3 on the road in this game. The Rams have been a little tough to figure, but we'll see what happens in this one. Tim.
Oh, I got to go first.
Yeah.
I'll go Baltimore.
All right. Jake.
If LA doesn't run the ball, they will lose. I'm taking Baltimore.
Ravens look incredible right now. I'm going Baltimore. Manny.
If you say Ravens real fast, it almost sounds like Raiders. I'm going Baltimore.
See, that's a great line.
That is a great line, Lara.
Raven.
Brandon.
Yeah, I'll make that a straight across.
All right.
Oh,
All righty, y'all. That's going to do it for the show this week. We'll chat with you next week. Best of luck to the Wildcats tomorrow. Hope you get the win against the Warriors. And I'll talk to you in a couple hours on the Roundup.